Hello, everyone. I'm Tom. Since this coronavirus disruption started, I've been hosting this vlog to eat beef jerky and connect across the internet. The beef jerky part is silly and pointless. I'm not a food critic, but this vlog has let me explore some fun ideas with you, especially regarding game design, and I plan to keep doing it. Here we are, June 12th, nearly the middle of June. I was just on the phone to Spectrum Cable, which used to be Time Warner, and still is. They just, had a name change. And my hair's messy. Uh, you know, 2020 for you. And they told me that I could still wait at least a week for my new cable modem. Not that this old one is broken, but it's extremely old and not giving me the service I could have. And yeah, and talking with them, all the individual workers seem to be very nice and helpful, but I've talked to four of them now, and I still haven't gotten my new modem. Grr. Um, but let's think about cheerier things. I want to share this image with you. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, look, Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, that's a video game. Came out on the PlayStation 4 some almost 4 years ago. Interestingly enough, I have not played it, and I am getting in the mood to play it. I think I am going to start to play it. It's my intent to play it now. Um, I I felt that way because I've read a lot of reviews that basically say it's different, and as a game designer, I'm very attracted to different. Um, and of course, different is relative and is seen through the lens of things like, you know, Square Enix. Um, Interestingly enough, in case you don't know, Final Fantasy is named Final Fantasy. It's an English name, even though the Japanese came up with it. They wanted English words, but they wanted to create not the Final Fantasy. They wanted to create Ultimate Fantasy, and it kind of came out as Final Fantasy. The point is that at the time they created Final Fantasy, the original, the company was struggling, and they knew that they were going for broke. So their design philosophy was everything in the kitchen sink. Was let's put everything in. Let's not hold back. Let's do everything we can possibly do. Let's go big. Let's not go home. Let's go super big. And so they intended to have kind of a game that was called Ultimate Fantasy because Ultimate has everything. But what they chose as English words was Final Fantasy. So you can see where Final Fantasy comes from. And to a certain extent, what I think I really like about the Final Fantasy products is definitely that they hold on to that ultimate fantasy vision. Every single Final Fantasy is them pushing as far ahead in the envelope as they can. It's going as far as they can, going big and not going home. So every Final Fantasy game is guaranteed to be a big deal and full of fresh, bold ideas. And I definitely like that. Um, One of the things in studying this and thinking about whether I should actually play it or not, I've come, smack dab into something that the actual players came into almost 4 years ago, which is that Final Fantasy and Square Enix designed Final Fantasy 15 to be what's called metamedia. In other words, you cannot get the whole story by playing the video game. There are movies, there are anime videos, there's extra material out there that you need to consume in order to get the big picture. Now, I had been aware of so-called metamedia game products for a long time because there's an old game series called Dot Hack Sign and Dot Hack this and Dot Hack that, and that was very interesting for what it was. In fact, I really enjoyed the first series. Um, but that also was metamedia. You had to play a whole lot of different games and watch a whole lot of different anime and read a whole lot of different comic books to figure out the whole picture of what they were up to. And of course, I didn't want to do that. I wasn't intense enough to do that. So I watched one anime and played half a game, and that was enough for me. But it's interesting that companies choose to do that. That kind of that meta media idea that they're going to tell the whole story across a lot of different media, and you have to consume it all to be able to actually, you know, experience the entire story. I'm not sure whether that's good or bad, but I can tell you right now, it's not something that indies are capable of doing or set up to do. Oh, it takes a big company with a lot of resources and a lot of a lot of opportunity to meta media. And I, as an indie game designer, I'm not going to do that. I have some interesting ideas, of course, but they know I'm not going to do that. So, um, and really, that is the point of my blah here is that I should go back and revisit Final Fantasy 15. Everything I've seen suggests that it really has a fresh take on gameplay and mechanics and the ideas behind an RPG. So I should pay attention. I should explore that. All right, that's enough blabbing about video games and stuff. It's time to get to the main event, which is the beef jerky. As you may know, we have been enjoying mythical meats. Got a 10 pack here. There's 2 left. We've already been through 8 of these, and they sold themselves. First off, they were all reasonably good beef sticks. As beef sticks go, they weren't nasty and greasy. And also, they were true to their word. Each one was different. Each one is spiced differently and uses different meats, more or less. So I'm actually excited about this. I mean, it could be terrible. I got my drink handy. But I don't know. There's 2 left here. Let's give one of them a try randomly. Only 2 left to choose from. I'm going to try this one. What is it? It is Loch Ness Monster. All right. What is it really? What do they say here? It says beef and mild buffalo snack stick. Does that mean that the buffalo is mild or the whole thing is mild? I guess we're going to find out. Got it open easily. Here it is, Loch Ness Monster. Smells like a beef stick. This may be the most inoffensive stick yet, but maybe there's a little bit of heat sneaking up on me. I guess that's the best I can say about the texture of it. Is definitely, again, it's not as greasy as it could be. So that's okay. There's not a lot of texture in the meat. It's still not quite as light as that ostrich slash phoenix we had a few days ago. But yeah, not bad, inoffensive. It's got a little bit of fire that sneaks up on you afterwards. But definitely absolutely nothing like the fire of the dragon stick. So, yeah. Yeah, this was a wise choice. I think I think the fun thing about mythical meats is comparing the different sticks. Because yes, they are differently spiced, they are differently tastes. They've got 10 different very distinctive tastes. Um, and that makes it fun for me to say this is not as hot as a dragon. Um, but it's certainly tastier than chupacabra. All right, I want to look at the mailbag because there's a few little things. First off, on Facebook, Patricia Pizer said that beard is getting serious. Well, no longer. As you can see, I had just taken that decision to go ahead and trim it down a bit. Yeah, it was getting pretty bushy. I was getting all mountain man, getting all wild man. So, had to take care of it. So, I'm no longer so much of a soup strainer up here. So, no big deal. And someone says Sins, Cythz, just says loved it to my last video, and he or she said it twice. Sins kind of sounded a bit like a bot. I gotta say, a little bit like a bot. You gotta maybe add a few more words, be a little bit more creative, show your humanity. I welcome your humanity in our forums. And finally, in a recent video, Adam Para said, "Thanks for sharing. I saw an ad for Mythical Meats and thought of you." He says, "I keep meaning to ask, how did you enjoy the interviews with Xavier at the Armada Online event?" Okay, so if you are a fan of my Artemis game and paid attention to what was going on at the beginning of there, you know that I was planning and scheduling a big Artemis Armada convention here in Cleveland for the very end of March. And like many things that got canceled or that happened in that time frame, coronavirus led us to cancel it. Now, a hardworking group of fans took it upon themselves to do a virtual convention. And I really appreciate that. That was awesome. And part of that is that they interviewed some of the people who meant something to that community, and of course they wanted to interview me, the creator of the game. So we had an hour-long interview. I think it may actually be published and watchable somewhere. I'm not sure. But they asked me a lot of questions about what I was doing with the code and what I was going to go forward and do in the future and what my thoughts were on this and that. And Adam's asking, how did I enjoy those interviews? Well, I enjoyed them a lot. I can blab all day. Interviews I can do. Blah 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 blah. That's why I'm doing this vlog. Um, and I certainly talk about something that I created, of course. Um, so Adam, the answer is it was great fun, and I would do it again. And I appreciate the opportunity. And Adam, if you want to be a big help and you find a link to a video or vlog or blog or podcast about that interview, then provide the link down below, and I'd really appreciate it. All right. So, anyways, this is Loch Ness Monster. Turns out that I would have said that it was incredibly inoffensive, but at the end, it came at me with low-level heat. Surprising afterward low-level heat. Not super bad, and I'm not a super big fan of heat. Certainly wasn't fire like Phoenix wasn't and Dragon was. But well, yeah, not so bad. That is that is my final impression about Loch Ness Monster from Mythical Meats. Okay, we're coming down to the wire here, people. There's only one beef stick left in that pack. Fortunately, I have another variety pack waiting in the wings, so we will keep this ball rolling. Uh, and hopefully you can join us for that. Thanks. See you next time.